So we're going to go right ahead and sink our teeth into this. And as you see there, we've got Mr. Fatai Owoseni here with us. He is the SA on Security Matters to Oyo State Governor and former Commissioner of Police for Lagos and Benue. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, as you know, this is a controversial one. All over the dailies, perspectives from different people, they just think one thing or the other about this. But first of all, when you see the reactions, in fact, several groups thinking this is an experiment on regional security, this may impact on national security, this may divide the country. There are different views, which you may have heard some of it. What comes to your mind when you hear all these perspectives that people think, wait a minute, this is not the impression that they have, contrary to what the Southwest governors have?
I think it's just one of those things. People corrupting the interpretation of things that are being done. What is Amotekun? Neighborhood watch for the Southwest. There's a neighborhood watch in Lagos. The DFID also had a template, what they introduced, voluntary policing sector, which in other words is called the Vigilante. And the police had been working with Vigilante group all along. So practically what was done yesterday and what the Southwest have put up is to formalize the support, the assistance that the non-state actors are giving to the conventional security people. Nothing more than that. We've seen it worked in Lagos State. I was the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State when the Neighborhood Watch was created. As Neighborhood Watch taking over the job of the conventional security people.
At the time when they had that security summit, when the IGP was there, there was that comment from him, hopefully we'll get to it later, how they talked about the special forces that will be there to help, work with them as well. They'll have some sort of cooperation, but the dailies today reflect that the army and the police were not present as this operation is launched. That also sends more signals and wait a minute, are they really on the same page?
I want to think so. When the IG came for the Southwest Security Summit, the Inspector General of Police said, we are going to support the Southwest with a special intervention force, which will be coordinated or aided by a Commissioner of Police. Some of the elements of that had been deployed. What the Southwest is doing is, we need to support what the IG has done. Human intelligence. Those fellows that are being used as what I would call Neighborhood Watch, which the Southwest has codenamed Amotekun. They are familiar with the terrain. That is the advantage we're having. Some of them know all the nooks and crannies. The fact that the vehicles were displayed does not mean that it's only the vehicles that we use. You had His Excellency, the chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum said that motorcycles were even purchased. So if, for example, something had happened in Lagos, where we are now, which has a link with Ogun State, and you have your Neighborhood Watch, who are familiar with the terrain, with the bicycle, with the motorcycle. They know the footpaths that from here entered so many places that you can use to get to Ibafo, that you can use to get to Imowe. And that support had been there. When I was in service, I'd used the support of the non-state actors, of the Vigilante, and they've been very helpful. So this noise is just that maybe before the narrative came out properly yesterday by their excellencies, the governors, so many people have corrupted what that Amotekun thing means. I don't see any reason for the upbeat about it.
Right. Now, you've talked about equipment, you talked about the vans, the motorcycles, but let's talk about the personnel, the
Yes.
people that will drive this. I mean, this is important.
Yes.
So the question is, who are they? Have they been recruited? How were they recruited? Because we've seen pictures of vans, but, you know, the dailies don't exactly show pictures of these, you know, these men and women. So we'd like to know, who are they? How were they recruited? Have they been recruited? What criteria were used?
They have been there. As I said, I call them vigilante. We are just, Southwest is just, you know, a network, formalizing them, just like different states has one vigilante group or the other. I can tell you that even in Oyo State, the police command had been working with the vigilante people. The vigilante people are registered at each of the area commands. The procedure and the guidelines for the support and for harnessing them with the non-state actors, with the conventional police, the conventional security, is drawn by DFID. The force headquarters bought into it. There is a strategic paper that was prepared. It is out of that the Nigeria police issued what we call the force order guidelines on community partnership with the Nigeria police. So it's not a new thing. And even the networking thing is not new. There used to be a G8 for the North Central. I was in FCT command that time. The G8 then was formed by the governors of the North Central as the conventional security people. But this element that is being introduced by the Southwest are the community people. That is the non-state actors' partnership with the conventional security people.
Do you have an idea how many they are? 1,000, 2,000, how much are they?
Just like nobody can exactly say the idea of the strength of the police.
Oh, I mean, you can find
No,
it. It's close to
because
400,000.
people retire, people die every day. And when you have such a thing, it is the area. The number that Oyo State will use may be higher than the number that Ogun State will use. And when the excellencies were talking, they have said that, look, all these people will operate in their state, but the likelihood of an handshake will be there. When I was
Handshake, meaning the
that is
central
you,
command?
no, something like that. The handshake means that you are probably, maybe the control room has said that they are pursuing someone and he has come out on this long bridge and jump onto an Okada. And you have those neighborhood guys, the vigilante guys, probably in the bush area, that when in the course of pursuing that runaway criminal, maybe the guys from Ogun State, just the same thing that we've been doing as conventional policemen. When I was in Lagos State, I was collaborating with Ondo State and Ogun State.
It's interesting.
We were meeting on the water in order to look for kidnappers. That's the kind of handshake. Right. You cannot operate alone when you talk of security. And I want to tell you, way back in the 80s, I was in Force Headquarters Moloni. We had that kind of network that from the Moloni Force Headquarters, from the control room, we had system, communication network that you can use to trace vehicle from Lagos up to the express road to Ibadan to Ondo. That is why you had all those police posts along the express road that had been turned to something else now.
So is that the kind of operational guideline, sorry guys, is that the kind of operational guideline that Amotekun is also going to be deployed?
Yes, look, I had brought this. This is a guidelines of voluntary policing sector. It is not even the Nigeria police that started it. The British government, through the DFID, introduced that. This is guidelines for the voluntary policing sector, vigilante group. When I was in Lagos State, we had them formidable. The whole of Agege is the voluntary policing sector people that organize themselves and they register with the police. They meet like on a weekly basis on their activities with the police to put check and balances and everything.
That's in Lagos, sir. And gratefully, you were the commissioner for police in Lagos at the time. But you also mentioned the other time that communication about Amotekun hasn't been as well integrated into the people as it ought to have been. So going forward now, the operation has been launched. What kind of communication materials are being put out for people to understand how they are going to operate? Because if you just see a uniformed officer in your environment or your community without knowing what the person is about, there could be some panic.
How do the neighborhood police, the neighborhood watch in Lagos operate? You see them, you know their uniform, you know that this is a neighborhood watch. In different areas where we live, we even have self-help group. We all have private guards and everything. It's more or less the same thing.
Yeah, but you said that the communication was poor hitherto. You're the one who said it.
No, I was saying that the communication system that we were using, that the Nigeria police was using at the time,
I mean about the operation
the
itself.
narrative.
Yes.
People decided to corrupt the interpretation of what it is. People were just jittery. I have said it. The summary of it is that an enlargement of what Lagos is doing. Lagos has called their own voluntary police neighborhood watch. You now enlarged it, networking, integrating in the Southwest. So it is more or less, call it Neighborhood Watch Southwest Vigilante.
Is it the same LNSC that will now integrate or metamorphose into this group?
What I'm saying is that the group, what is
Yeah,
launched,
that's the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch.
Neighborhood, what I'm saying is that use another name. That is Neighborhood Watch.
No, I
simple.
get your point, but what I'm saying is that in terms of operationalizing this now,
Yes.
just as you said, Lagos State do have their own Neighborhood Watch.
Yes.
So is it the same Neighborhood Watch group that will now serve as this?
Each of the states have their elements that will be part of that system. The Lagos State can use their own Neighborhood Watch. In Ogun State, they have something that is similar to the Neighborhood Watch in Lagos. In Oyo State, the Vigilante group had been working with the police, and they are registered with the police.
So
you are formalizing them. The problem had always been that, look, we are supporting security activities, and government don't just bother. Government don't want to know whether we are existing. So you are now formalizing them. You are making them officially recognized, and you provide the enablement with which they work. Some of them have been using their own personal tools to work. Some of them will go and use their bicycles. Some of them will use their hunting dogs. But now the government is saying, oh, we've recognized you as a veritable tool, as a good partner to support the security system. So we can now provide for you by saying, oh, okay, let us have your number. In each of the police command, I'm aware of that, and I can tell you of Oyo State, the area commands, the police area commands, have registers of the vigilante in the different local governments, in their different areas.
Right.
But nobody is supporting them before. It's a self-help. It's like when the PCRC also will come up to say they're doing something. So that is why the DFID call it voluntary policing sector. So what the Southwest is doing now is that we've recognized you formally. We captured you into our security architecture. And of course, we can provide for you by buying bicycles, by buying motorcycles. If we are going to give you stipend, if we are going to give you pep talk training, they are already trained because they are, what is more in training other than for you to have a full knowledge of your area, that if someone steps out now, you can say there are this number of doors that go in and out of this place. That is it. The native intelligence they have, they combined it with that. And as I have told you, what we've been doing before with the voluntary policing sector is that they meet regularly with the conventional security people, they have pep talk, they have their code of conduct and everything. All these things are stated there, and these are the guidelines that that are being put up to be the rule of engagement. And they also have a system whereby you can do internal oversight and external oversight. Globally, is acceptable.
Now, you brought in two elements. You talked about the vigilantes, and you gave an example of Lagos Neighborhood Watch. But you see that for the vigilantes, you see them carry guns. Sometimes for Neighborhood Watch, they don't carry arms. So how would it work for the Amotekun Corps Will they carry arms? Would they carry arms? What powers do they have to make arrests? We need to understand at least how these things will work with Amotekun.
The powers they have to make arrest is the same power you have. Every citizen has a power of arrest. When you arrest, you take to the police station. That is the same power. They are not going to operate a detention facility. So it is, just take it, non-state actors participating in securing the people.
What about the element of arming them? Will they be armed or
Nobody
otherwise?
has said that they will be harmed. There is no one that has said they will be harmed. And even in our different areas, in the locations we live, some of us, in some areas, we have all those olodes.
Who carry guns?
Dane guns.
Right. So will they carry Dane guns, for example?
If it's necessary for them to use in some of, because the hunters do carry their Dane guns with their dogs. Those are their tools, and it is not illegal.
Wouldn't that be putting the lives of these men in jeopardy, given that some of the people that they will be going after would be heavily armed?
They are not going after anyone. The narrative is this. In security architecture, there is something they call HUMIT. Call them the CCTVs. Local intelligence. There is nothing that is as powerful as you have a group of people that know that you cater for them, that they can run to the conventional security people. You have the conventional security. Most of the states have joint security group. In Oyo State, they have an operation bus. They're on the road. We have the pin down point, the swift response squad. And these fellows, who are the non-state actors in their different areas, in the bushes, pretending to be doing their farming, see someone moving in a way that is suspicious, and they quickly run to the conventional security people, because the essence of formalizing them, making them a formal group, is for you to be able to provide for them. Even when I was in service, some of the problems we have is that some of them will say, we've been doing this for you, we've been coming to give you information, there is nothing as incentive for us and all those things. So you can now, once you formalize them, you have the records, you can now say, okay, you are giving incentive. The practice of what they call information money has been there with the conventional security people. So you can now probably say, okay, from the information money or whatever, these people are giving us information. Let us do this. So the governors are just now saying, okay, we'll bear the responsibilities.
All right.
Here in Lagos, there was an operation we had in Badagry that the people helped us. And they came to me, help us to appeal to the governor. Look at the effort. The guy that was terrorizing Lagos with bank robberies, we had their support. They joined the conventional security people to lay siege for those guys.
Some of those neighborhood watches in different states that you mentioned, we do know that the state houses of assembly passed laws to enable them operate. Yeah. What is Amotekun going to operate by?
As I've told you, like you've said, Lagos has a law. Ogun State has a law that legalize their own similar units of
not
vigilante
as this
group.
New Amotekun now.
Those are the elements. Nobody is doing any new thing. These guys are already there. You are only taking a proper census of them. It's like a disorganized body. You go to some state. The state we have Vigilante group. There is the Vigilante group of Nigeria. They are always fighting. But you are now coordinating them, harmonizing them, so that you can have a standard for them. Instead of the Vigilante group of Nigeria. When I was in Benue, we had the same problem. The Vigilante group of Nigeria will say that we registered and we had a law by the federal government. Then the Vigilante group of the state will say, look, we are the ones that are supposed to operate in the state. We used to have that fight. It's the police that used to bring them together. But with this formalization of them, we now harmonize their practices. You have a standard operation procedure for them. You have the rules that, look, all of you are just non-state actors helping the conventional security people, and you must operate within this. With the guidelines that the DFID had written for the police before, part of the thing is that in the locality you are, the DPO must have your register. But before, it wasn't formalized. Now that it's formalized, not only having their names and addresses, you take their pictures, you can take their biometric, you can capture them biometrically, so that if anything happens, you will know how to address it.
Each of them will have identity cards.
Of course, yes.
So now, what does it mean when we see that the headquarters will be in Ibadan, your state, the operational base will be in Bongon, Osun State? How does that work?
Look, as of now, did you hear any of the governors there mentioning, oh, we have identified an headquarters? It is the Dawn Commission that is coordinating the operation. The headquarters of Dawn Commission, Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, which handles other things apart from security, social and economic development and integration in the Southwest. They have their headquarters at Cocoa House, and they have a Director General. They have a structure as an institution to coordinate activities within the Southwest. And when the narrative was given out yesterday, you had His Excellency Governor Akeredolu saying that the Dawn Commission will be the coordinating office for that outfit for now. It's something that is ongoing.
So is this group still going to have those special forces the IGP talked about supporting them?
Of course, yes. They serve as the intelligence, local intelligence for the conventional security people. Because what the conventional security people may not know, they will know. As I've told you, human intelligence, and everybody will say, go and install CCTV. These are the CCTVs. And the method of operation is that, oh, you see something, it's my saying, you see something, say something. So they see something happening in their area, they say something to the conventional security people who would, and they will lead them as well. Because there are sometimes that you are pursuing criminals, they just enter into one dead end. But to have those neighborhood watch, who the criminals may not even know, because they may pretend working in their farms or hunting in the bush, and they will be the people that will say, look, this person has passed this place. And you have given them enablement like bicycle, motorcycles, because of the terrain. How many of us know the footpath that entered Lagos from, say, Ibafor, from Imowe? But those people have been living there, they were born there, so they know this.
Just one more thing, Mr. Owoseni. So what happens? You said we don't have CCTVs now, but CCTVs will come. Community police will, well, should become a thing eventually. So what happens?
Community policing has been there. Don't get it wrong.
No,
this is also
the governor
community
said
policing.
this is not community police, that this is, I mean, he said it. So eventually this will come. So what happens when it comes? Will they be phased out? Will they be absorbed? That's the question.
Listen to me. I served in the Nigeria police for 35 years. Community policing has been there. We've practiced it. If I go out to pursue criminals and members of the community, the traditional rulers, helped me in locating the criminal. What else do you call community policing? That is partnership of the community with the police. That is community policing. It's in Nigeria that we just continue with there are things that we've turned to hackneyed expression. That everybody will just give the interpretation that suits him for whatever reason he wants. And they will sell it out like that. And that is why I said they've corrupted the meaning of this and the interpretation. And the narrative was clearly spelled out yesterday. This is complementary to the conventional security. The governors made it clear yesterday.
All right, that's where we leave it this morning. Mr. Fatai Owoseni's essay on security matters to Oyo State Governor and former Commissioner of Police in Lagos and Benue States. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.